Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse Daily Dose of AFA.
Where we bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing so you can start your day off the AFA way. And in case you have forgotten what that is, Mark, you have to remind.
No, let's start off Monday with this. You're absolutely fucking amazing. Exactly as you are. Don't change, just be you.
Just be you.
Yeah. Welcome, Monday, February 8th.
Yes. And today is Motivational Monday. How's everyone feeling on this Monday morning?
Oh my gosh. So this morning, the reading for the Daily Love, because we love to start off with that. The Daily Love was about joy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'll tell you, it's my favorite subject because I try to live a joyful life, Sherry. I don't know about you, but
yes. Life's too short.
I've done pretty
right,
good.
Mark?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So here's what it said in the minute.
The Daily Love.
As I embrace my feelings, I journey to joy. I may be tempted to avoid feelings I find unpleasant. The amazing part, however, is that staying present as they move through me is the key to unlocking my greatest joy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable feelings. How do we deal with those? We breathe through them. So Mark and I are doing breath work. So we learn this. So it's such a cool tool, Mark. Like in those different areas of our body that are uncomfortable, you can breathe in that spirit and just send that beautiful oxygen rich, positive energy field.
Yeah.
All
of it. It all goes to wherever you're pointing it. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You gotta
So joy today.
Joy. Jump for joy.
Yeah. That's my word. My word is joy.
Your word is joy. And you know what? I'm going to stick with that word as well. I think joy is
joyful today.
Find joy in everything that you're doing, even those little things that you may not want to do. And you can make them fun by thinking of us, how we talk about how everything is AFA.
Yeah, you can figure out a way. So that's it for the Daily Love. It's all about joy. It's being joyful because, good or bad, you're here. It's amazing. It's an amazing ride.
It's an amazing ride. Just go with it. Go with it. Go with this. Process emotions. Right? Emotional processing as humans is really, really hard. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I can do it, so can you. It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
It is uncomfortable.
In this journey called life.
Good morning, Cheryl, Denise. Oh yeah, the breath work. Wow.
Yes, that's our self-care tool of the day.
It is. This morning we're going to do breath work
with Jacques Theron. This is our 5th class.
That's it. Coming in the home stretch here. And every one of them's been different, Sherry, like brought up different emotions and feelings. And like, so it's just fascinating to me that there are different ways to just regulate your breathing that'll bring on different states and emotions. It's fascinating.
And here's another cool thing for people that like to inhale their cannabis. Just make a conscious decision when you do take that puff that you're bringing in the spirit of the plant. See how that works. Yes. So Mark, we have some good news to share.
Yeah, we do. Why don't you tell us about it, Sherry?
Well, we're really, really excited that we were nominated. As well as In the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio, one of our biggest supporters for Best Podcast. Really interesting. We put a post up. And so just take a peek. It's cannabis activism, and our podcast made it on there. And so did, like I said, we are doing Canna Talk segments every Wednesday with In the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio.
Yes,
also up for it. Yeah. So really take a peek, I'll recirculate that and just check out the people that are in the community that are doing this work, advocacy, sharing information and education. And the part that I really loved about these awards is that there were 3 nurses that were nominated. So 3 nurses in the country in the work that they're doing were nominated. So I really love that. That motivates me, Mark.
And here we are. Perfect. Motivational Monday.
Yes. And so what motivates cannabis nurses? Well, we talk about this every Monday, but we're going to go into a little bit more depth.
Mhm.
In 2018, the National Council of State Boards of Nursing put out the guidelines in the Journal of Nursing Regulations for medical cannabis.
Mhm.
They identified 6 essential areas of knowledge about cannabis for all nurses, nursing students, and advanced practice nurses. So we're truly covering this because it's important for nurses and actually medical professionals as well to know and understand the endocannabinoid system and all of the things that nourish and support it and those things that don't.
Right.
So the
Right.
6 essential areas, Mark, let's review really quickly.
What the 6 essential areas? I
Yeah.
didn't see it. Okay, here we go. Number 1, the nurse shall have a working knowledge of the current state of legalization of medical and recreational cannabis use, and will be reviewing each state. And we need to remember that info is going to be constantly changing as we evolve with the plant.
Yep. 2, the nurse shall have working knowledge of the jurisdiction's medical program. What does each state's medical program entail?
Mhm.
So same thing, we need to keep reviewing it. We need to
Right.
look at each medical cannabis program in each state is even specific as to how patients get certified and what they get certified for. So
Mhm.
that's another thing that we must know as well as nurses.
We do. We need to understand that to help patients navigate that. That's what we do a lot of, isn't it? Help
Yes.
people navigate the system. And this is part of it. Number 3, have an understanding of the endocannabinoid system, cannabinoid receptors, cannabinoids, and the interactions between them.
Important to know as nurses.
Hmm.
And we're going to touch a little bit upon this one in a minute. So number 4 is the nurse shall have an understanding of cannabis pharmacology and
Hmm.
the research associated with the medical use of cannabis. We're going to touch upon that in a little bit.
Hmm. And the next one, be able to identify the safety considerations for patient use of cannabis.
All about risk reduction, right?
It is.
Risk benefit ratio.
Safety profile, Sherry.
What was that, love?
Safety profile.
Safety profile, absolutely. And number 6, which is my favorite,
Mhm.
shall approach the patient without judgment regarding a patient's choice of treatment or preferences in managing pain and other distressing symptoms. So very
Right.
important, 6 essential areas.
Mhm.
And
So
so
it's
one of my,
yeah.
what was
Go ahead.
that?
Sorry.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
Sherry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead. No, we're going to go back and forth. Go ahead. Go ahead. You
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. It's on you. Okay.
So here's the thing too. So as we have evolved as nurses in the cannabis space, one of
Mm.
the things that we do is we got to dispel myths, because we
All
are
the
about
time.
advocacy, we are
Mm.
about activism, we are about freeing this plant, and we are about educating and empowering patients to make choices that are best for them. So history of the review since the
Mhm.
1900s. So cannabis has been in the US pharmacopoeia until the late 1930s.
Mhm.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Prior to cannabis prohibition, listen to this one. This one's a big one. There were over 600 commercially sold products with cannabis as the active ingredient.
It's because it's a medicine, Sherry.
That's right.
It's an effective medicine. Yeah.
Medicine.
600.
That's a lot of commercially sold. These are
Right.
items that were sold in stores. They
Yeah,
had,
let alone all of the ones that people made at home.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So the biggest myth of all that exists of all times is that,
It's the craziest thing ever because it's been debunked in science so many times. It's the gateway theory that cannabis use, marijuana use leads to harder drugs. Now, that's been around forever. It's just a marketing line that was fed to people. It's not based in any scientific reality.
yeah.
There
So
is no cause and effect in that scale. And if there were, Sherry, it would be something like, tobacco, caffeine, alcohol, and all the other drugs way above, and cannabis at the lowest risk of any use disorder.
absolutely.
Mm.
So when I hear the statement, cannabis is highly addictive and can lead to harsher drugs, this begs the question in my mind, Who decided that cannabis is highly addictive? Who decided that it
Yeah,
can
drill down a little bit more, and I think you'll find that it's not really there's nothing there because it's just a marketing fluff.
Fluff or
Mhm.
nutter?
That's it. That's
You
it.
know, so there's a policymaker. So the policymakers is one of the principal reasons, and it was, that's the reason it was cited in the defense of prohibition. So
Right.
policymakers. So why
Mhm.
is this flawed? So the argument states that people who use cannabis are more likely to use illicit drugs. We're going to go into a little bit of these studies. So one of
Yeah.
the things that I find most fascinating
Mhm.
in my research and reading was that, truly cannabis has been the most widely available illegal substance.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Such as what? Heroin, cocaine. And here's the thing too, most users of all drugs may have more than likely have used cannabis too, as
Mhm.
opposed to someone who has not used any of the substances.
Right.
Meaning that many people that are addicted to pharmaceuticals and other drugs
Mhm.
do multiple drugs at the same time, and one of them could be cannabis. That's what they
Right.
mean.
Right.
Yep.
Mhm.
And correlation does not demonstrate causation. Mark, you just talked about that,
It
right?
doesn't, yeah. Right. One could argue that drinking milk is a gateway to illicit drug use, since most people who use illicit drugs also drank milk when they were younger. You
Okay.
see how that's a little bit flawed?
Very flawed.
Yeah. It's just not true.
Yeah.
It's
So
just
here's
not
the other
true,
thing.
Jerry.
It's not true. And so here's the other thing too. If the gateway theory were true,
Right.
we would expect to see many more illicit substances being used by people.
I was just thinking that, Sherry, because there's 180 million people around the world use cannabis illicitly, right?
Mhm.
180 million that you would see if this gateway theory were even in any sense of the word true. You would see so many more users of hard drugs, right? And you don't.
Exactly. We
The
don't.
numbers remain constant. So,
They do. And we're going to go over some of those studies and surveys. So cannabis is an exit drug to opioids and other pharmaceuticals. We've heard that multiple times, and we can actually have some clinical data to go along with that. And
mhm,
as nurses, Mark, at the Green Nurse, we have seen polysubstance abuse patients, not only those that are using pharmaceuticals and maybe some
mhm,
other illicit substances and alcohol, but
right,
also regular patients. I mean, such as myself, cannabis allowed me to come off of 18 pharmaceuticals. That's a lot. It's a
that's
lot,
a lot. That's a
right?
heavy load.
It's a heavy load, boy. I tell you, I was
Yeah.
fried. The egg, that egg in the frying pan. I'm telling you. I mean, I
Oh
looked at
yeah.
all these bottles, and I'm like, "That's me. That's my brain."
Mhm. Mhm.
Pharmaceuticals prescribed by doctors. And so,
Love it.
yes,
And you're off of them. Great.
off of them. So here's some interesting data, Mark.
Here you go.
So studies and surveys, this is like a little thing, studies, surveys, anecdotal, right?
Mhm.
So 2016, the Journal of Health wanted to identify the first substance that led to polysubstance abuse. So this is a really cool story because it even taps into the younger people. So
Mhm.
they interviewed 3,000 seniors or 12th graders,
Yep.
and guess what the first substance was?
Come on, Sherry. Everybody knows this answer. Come on,
Alcohol.
folks.
Alcohol.
Always alcohol,
And the second substance, Mark?
tobacco.
There you go.
Yeah, because they're available.
Because they're available and they're highly addicting.
And highly addicting. Right.
You
Right.
know, both of them.
Oh, all right.
Ready?
2017 study published in the Harm Reduction Journal stated that the biological mechanisms of cannabis strongly suggest that cannabis can help address opioid addiction. There's a lot of research being done in this area
Mhm. Yeah.
that cannabinoids can help people, give up other harmful substances. They're looking at it in smoking cessation, alcohol cessation, anything that has addictive qualities.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
2017 was a big year for
Yeah.
studies.
Mhm.
So this is a great one. So published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology stated that out of 1,500 patients that were surveyed. So they surveyed 1,500 patients.
Mm-hmm.
76% reduced their opioid use after getting access to cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
76%.
Yeah.
71% reduced their use of anti-anxiety medications. And 60% reduced their use of migraine medication, right? And then the overall data, so out of all 1,500 patients, 60% of all of those patients were able to reduce their use of sleep medications.
That is
Big.
beautiful, Sherry.
So what does that tell you, guys? If you have migraines, if you have areas with insomnia, you have anxiety, you have chronic pain, and you're on opioids, guess what? Cannabis can help you.
Yes, it can.
Yes.
Yes, it can. Lots of studies out there, Sherry. Lots of studies.
Lots of studies.
Yeah. And what about the recovery programs?
So the recovery programs, it's a very touchy subject for a lot of different people, but we're going to talk about some of the things that have been discussed. So recovery programs, very touchy. Many addiction recovery programs were led to believe that cannabis was a gateway drug.
Right.
So what we've learned about addiction is that it's a personal, individualized experience, and anything can be a trigger to any type of addiction. But the facts remain, this is a good one, the facts remain that most people that use cannabis do not struggle with addiction problems, and they do not go on to use illicit substances.
Right.
And with that being said, Mark, we have helped multiple patients at the Green Nurse come off of multiple substances, including cocaine, meth, alcohol, heroin, prescription antidepressants, stimulants, and anti-anxiety medicines.
Right.
So it works.
Right. And to wrap it, the Benjamin Center for Public Policy Initiatives had an 11-page essay, Sherry, The Marijuana Gateway Fallacy, and they concluded there's compelling and enduring evidence that cannabis is not a gateway drug. That's not a gateway drug.
And like we said, many patients use cannabis as an exit substance to wean themselves off of multiple pharmaceuticals, addictive and dangerous pharmaceuticals.
Right. Exactly.
So with that being said, if you are looking to come off of or looking to manage symptoms, if you're on multiple pharmaceuticals, if you or someone you love is struggling from chronic illness or disease, and you want to learn how to incorporate cannabis to bridge the gap from what you're not getting from traditional medicine, or if you want to learn how to have a canna wellness lifestyle and how to incorporate it into your daily routine, or if you're interested in having a safe adult use experience, reach out to us at The Green Nurse, www.thegreennurse.com.
Yeah, reach out. And if you're in the healthcare space and you're helping people be healthy, join us in the community. We'll show you how cannabis can help the people that you work with and help you. And we'd love to have you in the community. So join us. Sherry?
And we're going to end with a quick little plug. All right. So we have a Valentine's Day special going through Valentine's Day, February 14th. So basically, if you book any appointment with us, whether it be for a consultation, energy healing, or a medical card, you're going to get a free bottle of Nurse Mark CBD. Thank you, Nurse Mark. Thank you, Nurse Mark.
Of course. Spreading the love.
Spreading the love. And then also, too, some of our nurses, if you book an energy healing session, one of the specials with that is you get a 30 to 45-minute energy healing session, and you also get cannabis education. So we're doing that special as well. So thank you, Green Nurses.
Yes. Okay, Sherry. I'm having a joyful AFA day today.
I'm going to have a joyful AFA day as well, and I'm going to breathe in spirit. And what are we going to do? We're going to...
Oh, come on. You know what it's all about.
Living your best life.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.